Let's return now to our coverage of Israel's war on Gaza, where streams of Palestinians filed into the southern Gaza city of Khan Younis on Monday to salvage what they could from the vast destruction left in the wake of Israel's offensive. And that's coming a day after Israeli military announced it was withdrawing troops from the area. I'm joined again by global affairs analyst Boye Akinokun. Mr. Akinokun, what do you make of the withdrawal of Israeli troops from southern Gaza? A retreat or a change in strategy?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. I believe it could be both. It looks like from all the reports we're hearing, the troops have been on the forefront for a couple of months, and it's probably time to recharge their batteries, take a step back, and that's the information we're getting from the United States White House. So it could be to rest and also to retreat and replan on the next thing. Now, the other things that are going on is there are conversations going on in Egypt at the moment for possible ceasefire. And this was one of the conditions that the Palestinians gave initially, that the troops should withdraw from the southern part of Gaza. So it could be both things at the same time.
Organizations like in the U.S. where you are, recently we had the U.S. threatening to withdraw support from Israel if it doesn't work out mitigating, casualties that have continued to rise tremendously in the past months.
Yes, there have been a lot of talks from the U.S. in trying to convince Israel to take a step back, and because of the humanitarian crisis and everything going on. So it could also be one of the reasons why we are seeing this troop withdrawal. We are not sure about all that yet, but the U.S. is really mounting on pressure to make sure that, and the U.S. has even threatened to withdraw its support from Israel. That would be a long shot, but those are the steps that those are things we're seeing from the United States at the moment in trying to get Israel to take a step back on this.
Israel's goal from October last year was very clear: a complete destruction of Hamas, to an extent that it won't have the capacity to be able to attack the way it did. How feasible is this goal?
It's a hard one. Israel has always wanted to do this. This is something they've always wanted to. But after the October 7 attack, that was an opportunity, and that's why we are seeing everything that's happening. It's going to come at a very huge cost because of the way the Gaza Strip is filled up with human beings and the people of Palestine. Now, it's their main goal, and it's what they want to achieve, and that's why they are pushing all out to try and achieve that. It's going to be a long shot because of the density of that area, but we can see the cost, the human cost, the cost on the infrastructure and everything over there. So it's going to be a hard one to achieve, but Israel so far has been all out in achieving that.
With over 33,000 casualties according to Palestinian authorities, do you think we're able to quantify the measure of perhaps what they call the new generation of enmity as a result of these losses, and how much impact do you see this have on peace in the Middle East in the future?
It's we cannot, straight to your question, we cannot quantify the losses. 33,000 lives is no joke. That's huge, and the kind of destruction. If you look at pictures coming from that strip, it looks almost like it's totally annihilated. So it's coming at a huge cost. It's not something that you like to see. You don't like to hear 33,000 lives lost, but the effect on the peace in the Middle East, we are not sure how this is going to end. All the parties involved are trying to contain and make sure the U.S. and the world powers are trying to make sure it does not escalate beyond where it is right now. But it's hard to say, because if this continues for a longer time, we are likely to see other things cropping up. We can already see Yemen militias attacking ships and all that. So it's something that has to be nipped in the bud. It's been going on for a couple of months. It has to come to an end to ensure that peace returns to the Middle East.
It's election year in the U.S. Do you think the Biden administration is now under pressure to rein in on Israel to be able to perhaps, not necessarily stop the attacks, but to reduce its onslaught in Gaza as a way to reduce the casualty numbers? We may have lost connection with Mr. Akinokun, but I've been speaking with global affairs analyst Boye Akinokun. Okay, I'm told it's back. It's election year in the U.S. I was asking if you think the Biden administration is under pressure to actually make Israel stop.
We cannot take out the impact of the election in the U.S. on the responses that we're going to get from the White House going forward, because it's a major issue. It has to do with the world, the peace in the Middle East, and the Muslims in the U.S. So it's going to have a huge effect. And I believe that's why we are getting those reactions from the White House, because anything going on right now would have an impact on the elections coming on in November. So it's going to have an impact, and it will have a direct impact on what happens at the polls in November.
Global affairs analyst Bola Akinokun, live for us in Texas. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.